Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you all to today's presentation. The topic is developing highly effective teachers. Um, Let me start this screen. The topic I have selected for discussion is developing highly effective teachers. This presentation focuses on understanding the professional qualities, attitude, competence, and responsibilities required for teachers to perform effectively in modern classroom. Teaching is one of the most influential professions in society because teachers directly contribute to shaping the knowledge, values, attitudes, and future careers of learners. A teacher is not simply a person who transfers information from textbook. Instead, a teacher acts as a facilitator, mentor, motivator, counselor, and guide who supports students academically and emotionally and socially. Throughout this presentation, we will examine the characteristics of effective teachers, the importance of reflective practice, classroom management strategies, and methods for promoting student-centered learning. Developing highly effective teachers. When we discuss highly effective teachers, we are referring to educators who consistently create positive learning outcomes and meaningful classroom experience. Teachers' effectiveness cannot be measured only by academic qualifications or years of experience. While those factors are important, effectiveness is mainly reflected in students' growth, engagement, motivation, and achievement. Highly effective teachers usually demonstrate strong subject knowledge, excellent communication skill, classroom leadership, emotional intelligence, and adaptability, commitment of professional work. They understand that teaching is a dynamic profession requiring continuous learning and self-improvement. In today's context, classrooms are becoming increasingly divided. Students come from different backgrounds, learning styles, and ability levels. Therefore, teachers must be flexible and responsive. As example, for existence, if one student learns visually while another learns through discussion, an effective teacher adjusts instructions to meet both needs. First thought about teaching. At this stage, I would like to encourage everyone to reflect personally. When you hear the word teacher, what is the first image, thought, or word that comes to your mind? Different individuals may associate teaching with different concepts such as knowledge, discipline, inspiration, guidance, leadership. This activity is useful because it reveals our beliefs and expectations about the teaching professions. What is the first word you associate with a teacher? Guide, leader, motivator, knowledge provider, role model. These responses show that teaching is a multi-dimensional role. Meaning of guru. meaning of guru. The term guru carries significant culture and philosophical meaning. Traditionally, we say guru means darkness of ignorance. Guru means remove or light. Therefore, a teacher is symbolized viewed as someone who removes darkness and brings enlightenment. These definitions remind us that teachers do more than teach facts. They help learners develop understanding, confidence, morality, and purpose. Teachers contribute to intellectual development as well as character formation. A teacher who encourages honesty, discipline, and respect is teaching values beyond the formal curriculum. Changing educational context. The educational landscape is constantly evolving. Several major changes influence modern teaching. Rapid technological advancement, digital learning environment, globalization, diverse learner needs, increased paternal expectations. As a result, traditional teaching methods alone are no longer sufficient. Teacher must integrate technology, collaborate learning, and critical thinking opportunities. Previously, students depend heavily on textbook. As example, you can see, today students can access information instantly through smartphones and computers. Therefore, teachers must guide learners in evaluating information critically. Reflective questions for teacher we can ask, highly effective teachers regularly engage in reflective practice. Reflections involve critically examine one's teaching process through questions such as, are my students actively learning? Are my teaching methods effective? What improvements can I make? Reflection helps teachers identify strengths and areas requiring development. As an example, after lesson, a teacher may realize the students were confused about a concept and decide to reteach it using a different strategy. Student learning as evidence. This slide uh, uh, presents an important educational principle. Teaching effectiveness should be evaluated based on student learning outcomes. If students are not learning effectively, teachers should not immediately assume students are unmotivated or incapable. Instead, teachers must examine lesson clarity, instructional methods, assessment techniques, classroom engagement. As example, if an entire class performs poorly in a test, the teacher should review whether concepts were taught clearly. Creativity and innovation. Education today must be beyond memorization and examination preparation. Teachers should develop creativity, innovation, critical thinking, communication skill, collaboration. The student must be prepared for real world challenges. If we get like this as example, rather than simply memorize environmental factors, the student can create awareness campaign about waste management. Characteristics of effective teachers. Research identifies several characteristics of effective teachers. These include clear instructional goals, content expertise, lesson organization, strong communication, positive teacher-student relationship. Effective teachers create structure while maintaining warmth and encouragement. As example, a teacher who explains lesson objectives at the beginning helps students focus on expect outcomes. General profile of effective teachers. Highly effective teachers also teach metacognitive skills, encourage independent learning, provide constructive feedback, promote interdisciplinary learning. Metacognition means helping students think about how they learn. Example, a teacher may ask the students to reflect on which revision method helps them most. Lifelong learning. Teacher must model lifelong learning. This includes attending workshops, reading professional literature, updating pedagogy skills, learning educational technologies. A teacher learning to use digital assessment tools demonstrated professional growth. Flexibility and adaptability. Teaching rarely goes exactly as planned. Therefore, flexibility is essential. Teachers may need to adapt because of time constructing and technical issues, student misunderstanding, classroom behavior. If a group task becomes too noisy, the teacher may shift to peer discussion. As an example, if the group task becomes too noisy, the teacher may shift to peer discussion. Teacher as role model. The students carefully observe teachers' behavior. They often imitate speech patterns, attitudes, punctuality, emotional response. Therefore, teacher must demonstrate professionalism constantly. As example, a calm teacher handling conflicts respectfully teaches emotional regulation. Avoiding monotony. To maintain learner attention, teachers should vary instruction. Method includes questioning, movement, voice variations, storytelling, demonstrations. As example, instead of lecturing continuously, teachers can pause and ask analytical questions. Classroom management. Classroom management is essential for productivity, productive learning. This includes seating arrangement, time management, clear expectations, positive discipline. A well-managed classroom reduces disruptions and supports engagement. We can establish class rules collaboratively, increase students' responsibility. Learning by doing. This slide highlights experience learning. Students remember best when actively engaged. The profession is hear and forget, see and remember, do and understand, reflect and internalize. In science, conducting experiments improve conceptual understanding. Seven principles of learning centered design include student faculty interaction, active learning, cooperation, promote feedback, time management, high expectations, respect for diversity. These principles encourage inclusive and effective instruction. Conclusion of this, to conclude, becoming a highly effective teacher is a continuous professional journey. It requires dedication, reflection, adaptability, lifelong learning, student-centered practice. Effective teachers influence not only academic success, but also the character, confidence, and future of learners. As educators, our responsibility extends beyond content delivery. We shape future generations. Thank you very much for your attention.